9,000 burn damage. We're gonna do 9,000 burn damage to our opponent in today's video. So get ready for that. As you can tell right off the bat, it's gonna be some fair Yu-Gi-Oh today. We're gonna have so much fun. My opponents are gonna be so happy. And it's just gonna be a great time. So I'm so excited to show off this deck list. It uses a card that I've been trying to break for so long, Vengeful Servant. This card, when it is equipped to a monster, when that monster changes control, its new controller takes damage equal to the attack of the monster. I have been trying to use, Mark of the Rose and Plant decks, Amaryllis, and a burn deck, trying to break this card. Lo and behold, I'm watching Carpath's new series where he looks at cursed replays. So, I see you, Carpath. I see you're coming for the cursed deck audience. I can't tell you how many cards I've seen on that replay series that I'm like, God dang it, I was working on a deck with that card, and this is an example. So I guess I'm going to be stealing a lot of content from Carpath and the people that send in replays to Carpath. So yeah. That's something. This deck is so innovative, so cool, and as someone that has been trying to break Vengeful Servant for a long time, this is the way to do it. This person, their name is MST Negates K, a very funny name. They figured it out, and so I am a humble servant in this episode showing off their list, or at least what I think is their list. I couldn't come up with the exact deck list, but I got pretty close. Here it is. Look at this beautiful monstrosity. The whole idea is there are so many cards to steal your opponent's monster just for the turn. And if you steal a monster with 3,000 attack, attach 3 Vengeful Servants to that monster, and then it goes back to your opponent in the end phase, well, that is 9,000 burn damage. This is it's just genius. It makes so much sense. Why try to use Vengeful Servant over multiple turns when you can just do it all at once, kill them all with one swap, and you're good. You don't need to think about it. The rest of the deck is filled with stall and setup, and it's perfect. You do the thing, you pull off your combo, you search all 3 of the equipped spells with Hidden Armory and Iron Blacksmith, what's his name? Kotetsu? The inclusion of the Marionette Might is so smart in this list. I'm getting chills. As someone who makes decks, both Grinder Golem and Lava Golem, who are both golems, are fiends. So it's just 3 more brain controls for the one monster you want to steal. It's so genius. I don't know what I would change. So let's get started. Let's ruin some days. Here are the duels. This first game, we are up against Chaos. And look at this opening hand. We've got Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. I used to play this guy in GOAT format in my Benkai OTK. And knowing me, I bet that is not surprising to any of you that I used to play that deck. So this is not the first time I have used this card, but happy for him to be back in one of my deck lists, even though I stole this deck. Anyway, he's going to attack into our monster with the Cyber Dragon. We can add the Vengeful Servant from our deck to our hand, and then he's going to set a monster and pass his turn. We draw yet another Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. We are going to set that and pass. He decides not to flip his right go, attacks into it, and we can add another Vengeful Servant from our deck to our hand. And then he's going to set a back row and pass. We draw a Threatening Roar. We're going to set a Waboku and a Threatening Roar and pass. He's going to go into the battle phase. We will take that 21, and we will summon the Tragodia. In main phase 2, he decides to flip up the right go, destroying the Tragodia and milling 3 cards. And we draw a Volcanic Queen. It's not quite as good as the Lava Golem. He goes into the battle phase, and we are going to activate Waboku. He's going to set another monster and pass. We draw another Waboku. We're going to set that and pass. He's going to activate Heavy Storm. We can chain our guys so he cannot attack. And then we draw an enemy controller. We are going to set the enemy controller and pass. And as this is happening, my opponent is starting to get a little frustrated. And I don't blame him. We're stalling. We're trying to do burn stuff. He's trying to play chaos, flip some right goes, and we're trying to do Vengeful Servant shenanigans. But don't worry, opponent. I'm sure this game will not get any
crazier. So we're just going to set a card and pass. He's going to flip his Shining Angel, and we are going to use this Battle Fader, and then we are going to draw for turn another enemy controller. It's been so long with nothing happening. I get impatient. I summon the Volcanic Queen, tributing his Shining Angel. I'm going to activate Brain Control on the Volcanic Queen, go into the battle phase, and no honest? No honest? Are you kidding me? I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is lethal. We can use Volcanic Queen's other effect to tribute one other card to inflict 1000 damage to our opponent. But he has the Herald of Orange Light. Oh my... Okay, if he didn't have the Herald, he would be dead. But he did, so he is not. And I have no idea how we are going to win the game. He's going to summon the Caius. We can chain the enemy controller to protect our life points. And then we draw a Marionette Might. Do you all see the line? Please tell me you see the line, because Caius is a fiend monster. We can use Marionette Might to steal his Caius, switch it to attack, and Battle Fader. Dang, if he didn't have that Battle Fader, that would just be lethal with these two Vengeful Servants. But, you know, this game is just going insane so far. I don't know how my opponent is saying this is boring, because I am on the edge of my seat. He goes into the battle phase, and we will take 2400, and we draw a Waboku. We're going to set that, and he's going to use a main deck Royal Decree. That is fine. He's going to go into the battle phase, and we are going to activate enemy controller to change it to defense, and we draw a Marionette Might. Don't worry, I'm realizing now I should have taken that damage, and then we could win the game by stealing the Caius and then enemy controlling the Battle Fader to attack. I'm an idiot, but you know, sometimes in the moment. Oh yeah, and then we have to Heavy Storm, because we can't Marionette Might the Caius when it has the Vengeful Servants attached, because then it will just kill us. This card is reciprocal. Also, my opponent is starting to get frustrated. He's calling us out for playing a degenerate deck, and you know, that's fine with me. We're going to steal this Caius, attack his Battle Fader, and I guess just pray. He's going to draw for turn, go into the battle phase. We take 2400, 300 life points, and a dream. We draw an enemy controller. Okay, we're going to set that and pass. He draws for turn, he goes into the battle phase, and we can change the Caius to defense, and then he's going to set another monster, and then we draw a Threatening Roar. I cannot believe we are still in this game. We are going to set that and pass, and he's going to switch the Caius. We can Threatening Roar, and I mean, there's one card that does it. That is not it. That is Battle Fader. We are going to pass. He draws again. He goes into the battle phase. We are going to Battle Fader. One card does it. Please show up. Lava Golem. That 900 life points is looking pretty good to tribute both of his monsters. My opponent got very upset in the end, but I mean, we won, and we did stall, and you know, what can I say? That the dueling book experience, you know, you have a good time, you play a friendly card game, and I enjoyed myself. I really did enjoy myself in this game, and I'm sure my opponent enjoyed himself as well. This next game, we are up against our father. That is right, we're going against Dad 100. So that's awesome. He's going to set a card and pass. We are going to set a card and pass. He flips up his turtle. We will take this 1200 damage after MSTing his back row, so we can drop a Gores when we control no cards. Not too bad. We are going to switch these cards to attack, go into the battle phase, get in some damage. Always good when you're playing a burn deck, is just getting in any amount of damage. He's going to summon out another turtle. We're going to set a card and pass our turn. He's going to MST our back row, but we can chain it because it is Threatening Roar. And then he's just going to switch his turtle and pass his turn. We are going to Grinder Golem my opponent, which gives us 2 tokens. We're then going to activate Enemy Controller, tributing one of the tokens. I think I can do this. Yeah, we can definitely do that. We steal the Grinder Golem for the turn. We're then going to activate Brain Control on the turtle, go into the battle phase. We attack for 12, and then we can attack for 27. We do not need to play around Gores because this is enough to get lethal with this Vengeful Servant on the Grinder Golem. GG's. Game number 2 against our father. What will happen? Will we win? With this hand, maybe, because things are already looking very good. He is going to set a card and pass, and we are going to activate Hidden Armory to add this Vengeful Servant to our hand. Actually, that was at the end of our turn. Anyway, you know, it's okay. He draws for turn. He's going to flip up this Goblin Zombie. We will mill another Vengeful Servant, and then he's going to set a card and pass. We get another Hidden Armory, so we're going to use that. That will add the Vengeful Servant from our graveyard to our hand. We're then going to set a Threatening Roar and pass our turn. He's just going to go Tribute Summon a Caius, targeting our back row, but we can chain it because it is Threatening Roar. He gets to search off of that Goblin Zombie for a Plague Spreader, and then we draw an enemy controller. We're going to set that and pass. I don't know why we're not... Oh yeah, we can't summon Lava Golem yet, but now that he has 2 monsters, we can. So we are just going to take this damage any day of the week after milling a card. Now we summon a Lava Golem. I probably should have Heavy Stormed first, but I just was clearly not thinking. I decide now to Heavy Storm. He summons out the Kribons, which would be the punish, but unfortunately for him, we just have everything. We've got Brain Control. We can try to get in some damage, even if he has Gores. That is fine with us. Gores or Trag. We have 2 Vengeful Servants to deal 6,000 damage. I played horribly, but sometimes you just win anyway. GG's, Dad. Good to see you again. Okay, okay.
Overall, the deck was pretty powerful, I would say. I mean, it's as powerful as an all-in combo deck could be. It's so funny. I think this is the style of all-in combo deck for Edison format. I know that would be applied to like a Wombo combo, set up 10 negates in modern format, but in Edison, you have your control decks, or the mid-range decks, and then you have all-in decks that try to do one thing, and this is definitely trying to do one thing. That being said, it does its one thing quite well. The only really big problem is the fact that you need to search all 3 of the Vengeful Servants. This means that your games are normally going to last 4 or 5 turns, and if you let your opponent set up, maybe establish a Bryonic early, you can just die, or just be slightly under the threshold of 8,000 damage. That being said, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to put it in Powerful Cardboard, even though I didn't make it. It feels weird ranking decks that I don't end up making, but I mean, it's Curse Tech. This is a community. As a community, we're all exploring the jank decks, and I would be silly to just ignore a creation as beautiful as this. Thank you, MST Negates K, for putting this deck into the world, even though I will be sad if I get burned by it for 9,000. Anyway, I hope that I don't just keep stealing other people's deck lists from now on, but I think some of the best episodes of Curse Tech have been inspired by other people's decks or by comments, and I'm just a messenger. Thank you, MST Negates K, and anyone else who creates jank decks, and I am excited to explore them in the future. Have a good one.